Students today are media and tech savvy. They are digital natives. However, research shows they are still movie goers and TV watchers. How can we capture this in the classroom? Well, we can use video to actually engage the learner in our lesson. There are many different ways to incorporate video into the classroom. One way is a preset or an introduction. Now, when we use a video clip for an introduction, it typically is short, 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes, and it does capture the student's attention. However, it does much more. It lays the groundwork for our lesson. It provides historical background that we could build on during our lesson. Let's take a look at a clip now of the factory fire during 1911 at the Shirtwaist Factory. We're going to look at a tiny clip, and you will be able to see the large chunks of information students will gain from this clip.
They heard the fire engines charging through the streets. They saw the smoke rising over the building and could see these trapped workers overhead. They watched as the tallest ladder in the New York Fire Department was raised toward the 9th floor. It stopped at the 6th floor. That was as far as it could go.
Wow, what a powerful clip to start a class with. There was tons of information in that very, very short 20-second clip of video. Some of the pieces we might want to point out for students is the sirens and the sound and the massive amount of people grouping outside of the building. You definitely have an emotional pull while watching this informational clip. But it also provides for students a visual on what life was like in 1911. They understand what a building built prior to 1911 looks like. And they can also see technology such as the fire truck and the inability to reach the floor where many of these women were working at that time. Another thing we can do is actually bring a document in to support the video that we've used. In this document, it's actually a letter from the construction company talking about how many people were on each floor working at that time. And on the 8th and 9th floor, this document states that we had over 275 to 300 people on each floor. If we look further down, it talks about regulations that state that the floor was only built to hold approximately 60 people. We start to understand the severity of the situation at that time in 1911. In addition to using video as a preset, we can also use it to teach the body of the lesson, the chunk, the content or concept that you are teaching. Now, to do this, it's very, very important that we help our students become historical detectives and actually analyze the video and look for detail and evidence. One thing we want students to be aware of is setting. Setting is an important key piece in actually analyzing a video. Students have to look for evidence. Maybe they are looking for transportation or technology or clothing to help determine the time period. Also, they want to look to see if they can identify the location, the place, maybe a state or a region, or right down to a specific building. Let's take a look at another video clip here, and I think the demographics of the setting will jump right off the screen.
May all of you return often to this place of God-created grandeur to renew the spirit of cooperation displayed here. New York will welcome you then as it welcomes you now.
I am sure that you were able to identify the location and time period. Students will quickly identify the Olympic symbol and possibly the season, such as winter. They might even be able to figure out that that was a previous New York State governor speaking. But the clincher is the hockey team at the end skating with the American flag. It was very easy to identify the 1980 New York State Winter Olympics that took place in Lake Placid, New York. But even as easy as it is to determine the setting of the video, it's very important that we help students actually find the pieces and the evidence in each video. We sort of have to model with them until they become experts in being a historical detective. Our next piece that we should look at is purpose of video. Setting is important, purpose is also very important. Why was the video taken? Was it captured for memory, or was it to document something? This next clip that we look at, once again, I do think you will be able to figure out the purpose behind this video, but I need you to think about these three questions. Why was the event filmed? Was it designed to persuade or document an event or a person? Was it mass-produced or shared for personal reasons? Those three questions will tend to direct your thinking while watching this next clip.
I just learned a secret. It's a honey. It's a pip. But the enemy is listening, so I'll never let it slip. 'Cause when I learn a secret, boy, I zipper up my lip. Now the military secret that I carry in my brain, I keep in safe deposit with a padlock and chain. You bet I got a secret. Oh, and I bet we find it out. The soldier's got a secret, but I bet we find it out. Hello, Ma. I got a secret. I can only drop a tip. Don't breathe a word to no one, but I'm going on a trip. Shh! Don't breathe a word to no one, but he's going on a trip. Hey, give me some magazines to read for when I'm on the ship. Don't breathe a word to no one, but he's going to go by ship. It's a cinch to keep a secret if a fella just takes care. He's sailing on a troop ship. Now we got to find out where.
It is a comical clip. I'm sure we all giggle when we actually watch this clip. However, the purpose of it had a very, very strong reason behind why the United States government filmed this document, this video. It was to educate military personnel. Think about the time period that this was made. It was crucial that military personnel did keep a tight lip on all information. You know, we could even talk with our students about the psychology behind making this type of a video. It's a cartoon, there's humor. Why do you think they decided to use this type of filming to get across a very important message? Also, we can add documents to this video. This video was for military personnel, but during the time, that message was also conveyed to the general public. Take a look at this poster here. We see Uncle Sam, I'm counting on you. Don't discuss troop movements, ship sailing, or war equipment. All of the information had to remain silent. In a personal file of a soldier in the military, an officer, this letter was found. And this letter really makes you think, was this part of a training piece, or was it actually a letter he sent home? It states, "Dearest Jane, can't write a thing, the censor's to blame. Just say that I'm well and sign my name. Can't tell where we sailed from, can't mention the date, can't even number the meals we ate. Can't inform you if I was met by a band, can't mention the weather, can't say if there's rain. All military secrets must secrets remain." And he goes on to sign it. "God bless you, your loving husband." Very interesting that it was important that all communications were actually censored and guaranteed that no information was getting out. We also have letters that we have large areas with X's marked out. This letter was checked to make sure no information was being passed from one person to another. Even though it wasn't intentional, they had to make sure that not one piece of information was released to the public. So as you can tell, purpose is very important, and in this case, it was for education. Supporting documents also will reinforce that concept to students. Our last piece is the emotional piece. I like to look at it as the personal piece. This, when we are viewing a video, is really important to look at the people in the video, their facial expressions, their body movements, the sounds in the background. All of this adds to an emotional message that the viewer or audience will get from watching it. Let's take a look at the video on the March of Washington in 1963. I definitely think the emotion jumps right through on this video.
Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Randolph. I would simply like to say that I think this has been one of the great days of America. And I think this march will go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, demonstrations for freedom and human dignity ever held in the United States.
I'm sure when you watched this video, you felt as if you were part of this march in 1963, that you were one of the 250,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C. on this hot August afternoon. There they were, holding hands, singing together, "We Shall Overcome." Extremely powerful and moving. In the beginning of the clip, you could actually see a gentleman trying to take a picture, a photograph, to capture the grandeur of the moment. It was very ironic also to see the symbolism in this video. You could actually see the Lincoln Monument in the background. And isn't it ironic that over 100 years prior to 1963, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed? As you could tell, videotape is powerful. Bring one into your classroom and let students enjoy history.